I'm Cole Haddon, and this is 5 a.m. Real Talk, a 5 a.m. Story Talk blog. What's up, Story Talkers? How are you doing? How are you going, as we say in Australia? I'm okay, I guess. It's been a lot lately, hasn't it? I've been dealing with a lot at home, too. My kids are going through some shit that hasn't been easy. We're getting through it, but it's sapped so much of my mental energy for a while now. I can't tell if it's parenthood, middle age, the state of the world, maybe everything, but I perpetually feel overwhelmed these days. I have for a while now. Some days it feels like I'm, trying to create through a din. There aren't headphones strong enough to block out. Are you faring better than I am? Be sure to take advantage of the comments section at Substack to discuss these real talk chats. Instagram too. You should be following 5 a.m. Story Talk podcast to discuss what we talk about today and, past and future eps. So, the din, the noise of life in 2025. I've been talking about that a bit here at Real Talk. Maybe you need some more context to understand where I'm coming from today. I'm a bit of an odd duck for writers, I'm told. I don't get writer's block. I don't even understand what people talk about when they talk about writer's block, which I know probably pisses a lot of people off. But writing is just this thing I do, like breathing. I remember I wrote a novel back at university. It went nowhere, except it did. It won me a writing fellowship that paid for an amazing trip to Europe. Except I also broke up with my girlfriend at the end of that, so maybe it wasn't so amazing. Anyway, the first chapter of this novel, there's a line I wrote that's always stuck with me, which is a miracle because I never remember anything I write. The line is, I'm a shark like that. Swim or die, write or die. Now, the thing is, I don't think being able to write whenever I want should suggest I can do it with the same, I don't know, agility. Maybe that's the right word, agility. Energy doesn't quite do it. What I mean is, I've been talking to a lot of writers my age lately, and most of us say variations of the same. When we were, say, 30, we wrote 3, 4, 5 times faster than we do today. 2 decades ago, I could be stuck on the 405. That's in LA. Hear a news report on NPR, some kind of interesting, fascinating story that sparked my imagination, and then I'd come home and start writing a feature script about it. 3 days later, I'd type the end on a first draft. That was just normal for the longest time. But these days, I have to fight to carve out 3 hours to just think about an original idea without interruptions. I used to listen to podcasts or chat with friends while I took walks in the woods, but I mostly don't do that anymore. And trying to fill up that quiet time, I was actually costing myself thinking time. I need that these days. I need to think about something other than what I'm writing for Substack or what questions I'm going to ask the next guest on this podcast or how much I hate editing podcasts in general or whether my TV pitches are strong enough to book that flight to London to meet with producers there yet. At the moment, if it's not 5 a.m. Story Talk or my kids, my time, most of my time really, is going into this new TV pilot I've been commissioned to write here in Australia. I don't think I can talk about it yet, but I love the producers and I'm having a brilliant time, especially since it's been a year since I first pitched on it. That's a lot of buildup, right? You just want to get it on the page by then to spend time with characters you've been looking forward to getting to know better. I think I'm probably rambling at this point. Sorry. But what I'm trying to say is life, let's just call it life, exacts a heavy price from you as you grow older. If I were 30, again, that would be amazing. I would have already finished this pilot I started last week. Instead, I'll probably still be going at it a month from now, even though that's still out of schedule, but you take my point, I expect. There's this great line in Fellowship of the Ring when Bilbo Baggins describes feeling stretched thin like butter on toast. That's me. Am I a workaholic? Probably. Maybe there's another way to be, but I can't figure it out. I blame my father, who cursed me with his work ethic. It's probably the only thing we have had in common. What about you? Have you figured it out? Does any of this resonate with you? If so, find me in those comments sections and let me know. And if you haven't, If you're feeling like not enough butter on a hobbit's toast, let me know that too. Maybe I'll have some thoughts to throw back at you. As for what else I've been up to, certainly I've been enjoying spring here in Victoria, Australia. The sun has finally come out for more than 24 hours, suggesting we've turned a corner, which probably means winter will return like a movie serial killer for one final jump scare any moment now. I just cracked open Orbital by Samantha Harvey, which she won the Booker for last year. I'm loving it so far. I'm also neck deep in Sergei Bondarchuk films after becoming infatuated with his 4-part War and Peace adaptation. You can find those on YouTube at Mosfilm, MOS, like Moscow Film, where there are dozens and dozens of brilliant, just such brilliant Soviet-era films for you to enjoy. I'm talking about Eisenstein here, Tarkovsky, Bondarchuk, and more, all free. War and Peace Part 3, if you haven't seen it, features what is easily the most astonishing action sequence I've ever seen put on film. It's followed pretty closely behind by another in Part 4. Truly, check them out. You're not going to regret it. I'd love to hear what you've been watching too, reading, creating, whatever. What's exciting you these days? What's bringing you joy? Filling up your, pop culture cup? Let me know. Same if you have a question about anything I discuss here or elsewhere at 5 a.m. Story Talk. Maybe I'll even answer it on the next episode of Real Talk. And shit. I just dove in today and forgot the acknowledgement of country I meant to do. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this podcast is recorded, what we call Australia today, and pay respects to elders past and present and emerging. Sovereignty was never ceded. I know I don't do it every episode here, but I try to fit this in as often as possible. This is Aboriginal land I live and work on, after all. I want to thank my friend Kerry Brothers too. He provides the music to this podcast, which is pulled from his song Cool City. Check out more of his music at the link in the show notes. Okay, winding things up now. If you enjoyed this ep of Real Talk, be sure to subscribe to 5 a.m. Story Talk if you haven't already. Paid subscriptions are available, which get you all kinds of bonus content. Check out the show notes for more on that. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, giving this podcast a 5-star rating or leaving an amazing review is a great no-cost way to support what I'm doing here. Oh, and if you do leave that review, take a screenshot of it to send me at 5amstorytalk@gmail.com. with the subject line Dracula. I'll send you back a PDF of the Dracula pilot script that was greenlit to series by NBC and Sky. I've been discussing Dracula, which I created 12 years ago as part of a 4-part podcast story called The Horror of Dracula, the unbelievable true story of the 2013 TV series. The first 2 episodes of this cautionary tale for all screenwriters, artists in general too, I think, were published last week. The final 2 will show up in your inbox tomorrow and 3 days from now. As for the next episode of 5 a.m. Real Talk, it'll be published in 2 weeks. Those show up on podcast players on the 2nd and 4th Monday of every month, which brings me to the conclusion of this week's episode of Real Talk. I'm going to leave you with a quote. I share these over at the 5 a.m. Story Talk newsletter every day as a way to generate discussion about the arts and the creative process. This one is from the brilliant David Milch, creator of the wonderful, just amazing Deadwood. I miss it so much. Here goes. Let me say from the heart, don't give up on mass culture. Contribute to it. Break your heart trying to make it better. Our species is in a fight for its life, and nobody says the decision is going to go one way or the other. Put your bodies and your spirits up. Yeah, that's good stuff. Take care of yourself, Story Talkers. See you soon.